Okay, so this is going to be a really short video because I'm not playing the entire video of this woman here. We're not going to lose context or anything like that as a result of that. I like to be careful about not using things out of context. I just want to kind of paint a little bit of a picture of the picture that a lot of estranged parents paint. The facade, looking a certain way. And that's why so many of us who have had these types of parents, in my case, I'll speak first person. My mother is a sociopath and a narcissist. And I often say that I wish I got the person that other people received. If she had been like that to me, then we would still be in a relationship because she's known as being funny, charismatic. She's known as being pleasant and butter wouldn't melt in her mouth and looking just so. And we used to have mother-daughter outfits when I was a little girl and everything was picture perfect. And then I see a lot of the estranged parents, the women mostly, who heavily filter like this, which, hey, have at it. I'm not judging that. I'm just bringing attention to their attachment to a facade. So let me just share, and I don't know that I've seen a video of this estranged parent or formerly estranged parent, I'll get into that in just a second, without some sort of crazy filter on it. So I don't know what it is about that with her. And I'll get into the estrangement part. Let's listen to this really quickly so you can see the lie. And she doesn't even understand that we can see the lie. It's like a separate reality.
This is how you know that I could care less having a hair bag on my head because I just dyed my hair. Coming on here to talk about this estrangement journey. Haven't we had enough?
Okay, so somebody evidently, or maybe a few somebodies, commented on her filters, and I'm sure some of those people weren't very nice. I know what kind of comments I get about my attire, about my appearance, about my age. So yeah, there are absolute, trash talking bullies out there and whatever. And, if you've been with me for a while, I don't mind it. It doesn't bother me. And it actually oftentimes, depending on what's being said, I've pretty much heard it all. I don't mind replying to it because I'm helping people develop their voice. And I feel like those types of comments actually help me in my content. They don't hurt me. I know, I'm so sorry to the trolls and the bullies out there, the human beings behind their computers that we call keyboard warriors. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Anyway, she's on here and she's like, obviously I don't care about how I look. I have a hair bag on my head with the filter. What do you think of that? What does that tell you? What does that say to you? What that says to me is she very much cares, or she would be on there with no filter, no colorizing, no nothing, keeping it real and raw and showing, her doing her hair thing. She obviously does care about the facade that she's created, and that's okay. Just be honest about it, especially since you're up here talking about your experiences. If you're not being transparent and honest, then which experiences are we to believe? Which stories are we to believe? And which are we not? You have just stabbed yourself in the forehead with your credibility there, or in the filter, should I say. Anywho, just as a little bit of a backstory, and I am going to create some videos talking about this maybe estranged parent. And I say maybe because she was an estranged parent 100% for sure. And then there were, I think, one for sure, maybe two videos where she talked about how her daughter came back. And she said, I didn't have to change anything about myself because I didn't do anything wrong. There was nothing about me that caused that estrangement. I stayed the same. I was a good mother. And lo and behold, that video is gone. And so are any videos or trace or conversation from that time forward, because I have looked talking about the reunification and repair of the relationship with her daughter. And she said in that video, we didn't talk about anything. There was nothing to talk about, kind of thing. What that tells me, if they are no longer in a relationship, is that there was something to talk about. Or if they are in a relationship, that perhaps that estranged adult child, based on some other things that I've seen this estranged parent say, has decided that, you know what, I can have a relationship with my mother, navigate her toxic behaviors, and they're just not going to impact me the same way anymore because I love her and I want the parts of her that I love. Which happens more times than I can actually count. And there's nothing wrong with that. Each of us are on our own individual journey, and how we decide to connect and what we decide is tolerable for us each as individuals is our personal decision, and nobody has the right to judge that. Period. End of story on that, right? So anyway, I will be covering her in the future. I just thought it was really interesting that she's saying one thing out of her hair cap and another out of her filter. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate all of you, and I will see you soon.